Can we stop pretending for a fucking moment that the Republicans even care about anything? Now look who came to dinner. Now, of course, Trump has no problem with hardcore white supremacy, and neither does his sycophantic inbred base. Now leave it to Donald Trump to turn what was shaping up to be an unusually mellow Thanksgiving weekend into yet another paroxysm of monstrous racism. The reports started circulating last week that rapper, former Kanye West, who's a piece of shit, he's a noted anti-Semite and a well-known well-known white supremacist Nick Fuentes had been together at the Palm Beach airport, supposedly headed for Trump's residential beach club slash classified document repository for some kind of meeting. It was confirmed that the duo had dinner with Trump and chewed the fat extensively over their future political careers, and this set off yet another of those Trump brouhahas in which decent people are appalled. The press calls every Republican on their contact list to get comment, which usually fails, and Trump puts out a series of absurd statements, both defending himself and attempting to distance himself from the controversy. Now everyone wonders, will this be the straw that breaks the camel's back? And it usually never is. I suppose that moment may come someday, and there might be a red line that finally breaks Trump's hold on the 35% of the Republican Party that still believes he's their Joan of Arc. I very much doubt that, as outrageous as it is, this incident will be that moment, and after all, Trump having dinner with such people is nothing fucking new. Now, for instance, consider that Donald Trump has had dinner numerous times. He traveled the world and spoken virtually every day with a well-known white supremacist named Stephen Miller. He is one of the ex-squatters' closest advisors even today, and Trump has dined with Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, who is a proud bigot in just about every possible way that you can imagine. And he's also spent plenty of time with faux celebrity fucker, the racist piece of shit fucker Carlson, who's the nation's greatest proponent of the virulently racist great replacement theory, and who knows how many others of his ilk are joining him for meals on a regular basis. Now Trump denies that he knew Nick Fuentes at all, and claimed that Kanye West didn't say anything anti-Semitic in his presence, so it's no big fucking deal. But in a series of posts on Truth Social, he claimed that Kanye West had begged him for the dinner and showed up with uninvited companions. Now Trump suggested that he felt sympathetic to Kanye's loss of business revenue resulting from his stream of anti-Semitic remarks in the last few weeks, and I'm sure he was curious about why that happened. Now, Trump's businesses have never paid even the smallest price for his grotesque bigotry, so he may have felt an obligation to provide advice on how to escape the consequences, and he is, after all, an expert piece of shit. As far as the anti-Semitism is concerned, Trump has his own style. Back in the day when he was failing miserably in the casino business, he was heard saying, "Black guys counting my money. I hate it. The only kind of people I want counting my money are short guys that wear yarmulkes every day," meaning Jewish people. During the 2016 campaign, he told a group of Jewish people that they probably wouldn't support him because he couldn't be brought. "And you're not going to support me because I don't want your money. Isn't that crazy?" As Squatter, he was often heard to say, after getting off the phone with Jewish leaders, that they are only in it for themselves and stick together. Trump, you just described yourself that you're only in it for yourself. Now, so no, Trump's anti-Semitism isn't quite as elaborate or as hostile as Kanye's railing against the alleged global Jewish conspiracy, but it is anti-Semitism nonetheless. As for Fuentes, a truly odious character reviled by all who aren't completely down to the neo-Nazi rabbit hole, he is hardly someone Trump would turn away. In fact, it's likely that if Trump didn't know who Fuentes was when he showed up with Kanye, the Secret Service would have informed him. Of course he knew who he was having dinner with that night, and it was perfectly fine with him. In Bob Woodward and Robert Costa's book Peril, the authors recount a heated conversation between Trump and the then White House Speaker Paul Ryan in the wake of the monstrous Unite the Klan rally in Charlottesville back in 2017. After Paul Ryan had called white supremacy repulsive, and Trump was fit to be tied and accused him of not being in the foxhole with him. And Paul Ryan replied that Trump had an obligation not to claim moral equivalency between the white supremacists and those who protest against them, as Trump had done with his famous "very fine people on both sides" comment. And Trump exploded at Paul Ryan, "Those people love me. These are my people. I can't backstab the people who support me." Yeah, you can. Nick Fuentes was with the Jews was with the Jews will not replace us marchers at that Klan rally. He was also at the January 6th Klan insurrection. He is one of Donald Trump's sycophantic inbreds. And in fact, at the dinner, Trump reportedly turned to Kanye and said, I really like this guy. He gets me. Of course he does. They are fellow travelers. Trump sees Kanye, a famous and wealthy black celebrity, as someone worth cultivating, and he sees Fuentes as a leader of his sycophantic inbred base. Their attitudes don't offend him. He very likely agrees with them, and more important than that, he believes they're useful to him even though they're not. All of this has been well known for years. Trump's racism, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, misogyny, etc. have been on display for decades and continue unabated during his squatting and beyond. In that light, I honestly don't see how the ritual demands for Republicans to disavow him are worth bothering with. Now, sure, I few will timidly peek their heads up over the wall and say that Trump shouldn't have done whatever abominable thing he just did. The press will chase down some others who will say they hadn't heard about it, and it will pass all over until the next time we go through the same cycle all over again. And what we should realize is that unless Trump does something that actually offends his base, they will stick with him no matter what. And white supremacists and anti-Semitism are a large part of that base. I think it's pretty clear by now that Trump's flock don't mind all kinds of racism and extremists breaking bread with their dear Satanists. And they're fine with that. Trump knows that, and so does the Republican establishment. And many of them don't much like it, but after all this time, they clearly don't have the courage to confront it or the integrity to walk away. So let's just abandon the pretense that the Republicans will ever really do anything about Donald Trump's increasingly snuggly relationships with white supremacists and anti-Semitism and far-right zealots and extremists of all kinds. Let's just assume that for all practice and for practical intent and purposes, they're on fucking board with the racism. So basically, if you like the video, you can give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, RBW King. You can also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video comes out. And if you want to support my work even further, you can donate to my Patreon link, which you can find in the About section of YouTube. And for just a little as a few bucks a month, your donation can help go a long way, and thanks for listening.